All right, guys, 3 properties dropped today, and we're about to review them. If it's your first time on the channel, really quick, there's the calculator. The first thing that we do is we make sure that we are using the right interest rate, and the way that we analyze, or the way that we find out what interest rate we're going to use, we look at the Federal Reserve, and we look at the 30-year fixed rate mortgage average in the US over the last 7 days, and we use that number, right? So if you go down here, you look up Fred, right here, Fred. And you could also look up a Federal Reserve St. Louis, right? And you could see here that we were on a really nice downward turn, right? In terms of interest rates. And then all of a sudden, like the thing with Iran started and it kind of like blew the hell out of the interest rates. I was about to refinance my home and then like I had to like stop because I mean, yeah, a half a point makes a big freaking difference, by the way. And we'll be able to see that today. But luckily for the last 2 weeks, it's been coming down. It went down to a 6.37, down to a 6.3. Hopefully this week it's lower than that. We'll have to see. All right. With that being said, we're going to use that information to negotiate harder with the sellers, because we know that as interest rates are higher, there are less buyers out there, right? Or the buyers that maybe before could afford their home now can't. So for that reason, we use higher interest rates, even though they hurt us because we're going to pay more. We use them to negotiate better terms with the sellers. In the case that you're refinancing, right? If you're refinancing, you don't want to have a higher interest rate, right? Like I'm actually on the cusp of like, if we see that this thing with Iran doesn't really work out, I'll just refinance anyway. I'll buy the property that I want to buy, and then I'll refinance that at a future point when interest rates are lower. So that's probably what I'll do. But I think that interest rates are going to be coming down here in the immediate future. So with that being said, let's look at the market. All right. And we're going to use this information too to negotiate with the seller. Okay. All right. And what do I see here? What do I always want to do? I want to see how many houses hit the market versus how many saw a price decrease. And you can see here, 2,170 homes hit the market over the last 7 days. And in the same period of time, 2,168 homes saw a price decrease. So that's a 1-to-1 ratio, guys. Amount of houses coming onto the market, amount of houses having a price decrease. So you could use that, right, to know that the houses that, like, if you see a house right now that's a B plus, where you're like, Andres, I don't buy anything unless it's an A. And an A for us means that it's earning like at least a 20% return on investment year over year, right? Like double the S&P. Well, if you see a deal, guys, that's like a B plus, or like it's a B, right? Then you have to think long term. You got to think like, hey, like, I might be able, even if this property just came out today, to work the seller so that this property could turn into an A, right? And I take that with a caveat, because usually properties that are B to A's, like experienced investors like myself that are constantly on the MLS, are going to see that. They're going to know it's a good deal. We're not going to negotiate a whole lot with the seller. We're going to say like, hey, you know what? Interest rates are at 6.3. I'm just going to wait for the interest rates to drop to like 4.5. I'll refinance this property and it'll cash flow all day long. I mean, if you get a property that's like, a 15% return on investment, more than likely that property is already going to be cash flowing. So anyway, use this information, right? Use all the information that you have, every single tool, to throw it at the listing agent, to throw it at the seller, because what you're trying to do is you're going to try to show them like, hey, you're in a really tough market. You need to help me make these numbers make sense for me. And then I can maybe give you a number that could also make sense for you. But while you're doing that number that makes sense to them, right? It's kind of like Grant Cardone says, right? Whether you like him or not, he says one thing that I think is totally true. It's sell or be sold. You're constantly either selling somebody an idea or somebody selling you an idea. So if somebody sells you the idea that higher interest rates are bad for buyers, right? Then you're being sold on that idea. I'm trying to tell you guys that it could be potentially really good for buyers, because now you're not gonna have to compete with a whole lot of other buyers, right? If you could afford the higher interest rates, you could use that to drive a lower price. You could always refinance in the future, but the price that you purchased for can never be changed. Okay, you're gonna go to your grave, and that house that you bought for $1 million or $500,000, that's what you bought it for. Okay, your grandchildren will probably judge you on it. So that being said, let's take a look at the 3 properties that hit the market today. We're gonna come down here, click on new multis, last 24 hours. Okay, and you can see that these are the 3 properties. I haven't seen these guys. I see them at the same time that you do. We analyze this live. Let's take a look. Okay, I like to sort by price per square foot. starting with the highest. This is ridiculous, guys. This is the highest number that I've seen all year. $1,279 per square foot. This guy must be nuts. All right, well, nevertheless, if you guys don't take notes, I take notes all the time of every single property that I analyze. So I hope that you guys are taking notes at home too. 1.28 million, that's good enough. And this, he's saying that it's a fourplex. It's in Miami Dade, all right? And he's saying that the rents, does he tell us how much the rents are? No, we're gonna have to figure that out. All right, well, none of these folks are telling us how much the rents are, right? And the only guy that tells us the flood zone is the last one, AE, so that means you're gonna pay a bit of a premium on that. But okay, so let's put that in the calculator, guys. I'm gonna put that in the calculator now, right? 3. Oh shoot, it's more than, it's 3.5 million. I put 1.28 million. No, it's 3.5 million. Holy schmoly. Okay. 3, 5, 1, 2. And he's currently paying only $19,000, almost $20,000 in taxes per year. For a $4 million property, that's not bad. And this property is tiny. You're paying $4 million for 2,736 square feet. I mean, is this a condo? Like, this must have like water views. Let's take a look at the quality of the product that we're buying for $3.5 million. All right, it looks out of like, yeah, like Robinson Crusoe, like somebody got lost in an island. What the hell? Okay, so it's probably in a really nice area of Miami. It's got its look. It's got its look. It's cute. But I mean, like, look at the inside, guys. What is this? Like an Airbnb? Look at the floors. Like, what are you gonna tell? Is this like a hotel? Is this an Airbnb? You know what the word for this is? It's nifty. Nifty doesn't make money. What the freak is this? It's like, hey, we don't have a pool, but if you squint your eyes. Yeah. Okay, so it's a little bit of a compound that they have going there. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? This is interesting. All right, cool. Let's look at the guts of this deal. I'm excited to see what this guy says. Introducing Coral Rock Village, a truly one-of-a-kind historic landmark in the heart of Coral Gables at 1301 Milan Avenue. Originally built in the 30s, extraordinary property, blah, 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 blah. All this blah, 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 blah stuff. All right. Well, we have no way of knowing if this property could actually sell for this. Let's see. Each residence, do they say how many? The compound features 5 individual cottages and 1 distinct architectural structure, thoroughly arranged with a lush tropical setting, blah, blah, blah. Each residence showcases a timeless, including exposed coral, blah, 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 blah. The owner is now offering a unique opportunity, retaining cottage number 5, while repositioning the property at a newly adjusted price, creating enhanced value and flexibility for the next owner. More than a traditional property, blah, blah, blah. So how big are the units? Like all this other stuff. Guys, just FYI. So 5 units. He says that there's 5 units there, all right? So they don't tell us anything. Let's put zeros here because that's what we know about this property. Nothing, okay? Now, let's go and just give this guy the benefit of the doubt, right? He says that there's 5, right? 5. Let's say that, by the way, the most that something that's a multifamily rents out for in Miami, right? Actually rented, like rents. And this is me looking this information up on the MLS, like accurate data, right? Was $4,750. And it was like a duplex that was like on the water with like ocean access. Like you could walk out of your duplex and like jump onto your boat and like, you know, it would take you a while on the like little canal system, but you'd make it to the ocean. So, you know, you'd have that advantage, right? And that was $4,750 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. These don't look like 3-bedroom, 2-baths, all of them, but let's give this guy the benefit of the doubt. You know why? Because in order for this property to make sense, it would need to be making probably close to $30,000. And right, this guy's making at best 5 times, right? 5 times 4,750. Okay, that's the best that he could be doing. And at that point, right, it would just be only a C of an investment, right? But more than likely, this is not. I mean, this didn't look like 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It looked like studios, guys. They look like studios in there. And we don't have any more information from the you know, 1, 2. Actually, there's 6 units here. That's interesting. He says there's 5, bro, but like clearly not accurate because there's 6. So something is awry. Something's amiss here, right? So, you know, if you're gonna put information on the system, like on the MLS, like don't, like, you're just making it more misleading, dude. Like, it's listed as a fourplex here, right? But then you say that there's like 5 units, right? Literally, this guy says 5. 5 individual cottages. Well, and he does say in one distinctive architectural structure. What the hell does that mean? A structure could be like a bridge, like, you know. Yeah, and then the picture has 6. So I'm gonna guess that there's 6 total like units. But again, there's no way for us to know, guys. So for me, this property is just a pass. Like $4 million, you could buy stuff that really cash flows. This is not gonna cash flow. This is like a pretty little, like, if you want to buy a historical like landmark, it's probably gonna cost you. This is it. Like, for us, this is a big fail. We're just gonna fail this. Well, that's sad. There's like literally like no info. Like 5 units, no info. Right, return 0. Right, possible rent, we don't even know because we just know the quality of the product, which is nice, but we don't know the actual like the type of unit, right? The unit count. Is it in distress? We don't know, right? Price deduction, like I don't think so. Anyway, we're gonna discard this property. It's just wild. Okay, back to like sort of normal land. Okay. This duplex in Broward County, they're asking for $995,700. Interesting price, and they're paying $15,438 a year in taxes. Okay, square feet 2,826 square feet. Okay, and let's see. They don't tell us anything about the rents. That's right. Let's look at the quality of the product here. It's got a pool. The floor outside could use some help. Right? They have, you know, it looks okay. The roof looks okay. The outside looks okay too. The inside looks okay. Nothing like crazy, like out of this world. Like nothing like a brand new reno. But the kitchen looks really nice. I mean, I would have chosen like, yeah, I guess it goes with the color. I was gonna say the cabinets could be like white, but you know, whatever. Yeah, they have the little AstroTurf outside. Yeah, not bad. Really, really nice. Like it's staged, right? So like this is you could tell by the palm trees this is not for reals. Okay, that's the way it actually looks. But you could actually make it look really nice. I like the idea of the virtual staging there. Okay, so all right, we have an idea of the quality of the product, guys. Let's look at the guts of this, see what unit breakdowns we get here. Okay, so a bunch of yada yada up here. This is what we really came for. All right, there's a 2-2 that's 1,250 square feet that's running for $2,650. Okay, and then there's another 3-2 that's renting for $3,000. Okay, so right off the bat, guys, this would fail. Okay, so in terms of the 1% rule, this would be a big fat fail. Let's go back here and look at this. Let's do a quick rent check. Do we think that for the 2-1, for the 2-2, they could get $2,650? And mind you, guys, we are in Pompano Beach. Okay, so $2,650 for the 2-2. It's possible. It's possible. I would want to double check the rents on this, guys. I would want to double check the rents on this. Okay. Yeah. Let me see. Oops. All right, so I'm gonna say that the rents look a little bit high, but they does have a pool, so it's possible. And the quality honestly does look pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna give this guy a pass on the actual rents. Okay. Yeah. But let's see how it actually works out. Give me one quick second, guys. Let me see. So I want to do that, do this. Sorry, do that and do this. Okay. Return on investment, guys, is not going to be there. You could already tell, right? 5.8%. So 995. This is a duplex in Broward. Rent 5650. Return right now is 5.8. Right? Possible rents, guys. I think that we're already towards the top of our rents here for Pompano Beach. Okay. So I don't think that you could really get more. So I would say like that is pretty much it. There's no possibility of, I think, increasing the rents here. Is this guy in distress? Let's take a look at that. If there's anything that can make this deal sweeter for us. And there's a levy there for, yeah, just like taxes kind of stuff. So nothing big there. All right, let's see. What's the realistic, I think, price decrease that we could see? I think that the most that you're going to get this seller to actually decrease his price by is like that $95,000, right? Just like he feels like he's getting something. And at that point, you would still be, it wouldn't even cover your mortgage completely, right? This is the DSCR ratio, debt service coverage ratio. And so this is what banks are going to look at in order to determine if they're going to lend you money. If you're going to be buying this with a 25% down payment, right? If you want to buy this like with a traditional like 20% down payment and just go off of your like income statements and all this stuff to prove that you could actually afford the property, that's one thing. But and you might get it, but you're still going to be paying, mind you, out of pocket for that mortgage. And the point of this channel, the point of everything that we do is that we manage the property, we take care of the property, we take care of our tenants, but in return, and we offer housing, but in return for that, we get well compensated, guys. And yeah, this deal is just not going to compensate you. As a matter of fact, you can see, even if you reduce the price, the best return that you're going to be able to get here is a 6.2% return on investment. And that's if he drops the price by 95K, okay? He's not in distress, all right? So again, for me, this property doesn't make sense. It would take you 13 years, almost 14 years before you see a penny coming out of this property. And again, that's if you put 25% down. That's almost $250,000. So for that reason, this property is a big fat F. Let's go ahead, discard it. And yeah, it's a fail across the board. So let's see. On to our last property of the night. There's only 3 properties today. And we're right here. Let's come here. Let's come there. Let's reset that. All right, guys. So last property of the night, nicely accessible price of $449,000. Okay. How much are they paying right now in taxes? $110,118 a year in taxes. Okay. And let's see. What are it's a big one, guys. 2,080 square feet for $449. Okay, the quality of this is probably not going to be good. Okay, can tell you that now. Okay, yeah, thought so. Okay, board it up. Board it up. But hey, the recycling bins look new. It's in Miami Dade, guys. Let's look at the guts of this deal, see what we can figure out. Investor special, centrally located in the heart of Miami, just minutes from Miami International, the Marlins Park, yeah, whatever. All this other stuff. Buyer must address existing unsafe structure notice. Don't miss this opportunity to add value and maximize returns in one of Miami's most sought after areas. Let's see if apart from the unsafe structure, there's anything else. This property has been reported delinquent in paying property taxes starting last year. We recommend checking with the county tax collector to verify the current status. Okay. All right. So he's in hot trouble here. So is he in distress, guys? Yes, he's in distress. Let's write that down. Okay. He wants $449, and it's a duplex, and it's in Miami Dade. All right, guys. There's 0 rents coming in because it's vacant. But does he give us do we get here a unit breakdown? Okay, there's 2 units and there's 3 bedrooms and 2 baths total. So it's probably like a 2-1, right? A 2-1 and then a 1-1, right? So let's go back here. Yeah, he doesn't actually give us the unit breakdown himself. So guys, let's look at what we could actually get for this property. We know that the county records say that it's a 2-1 and a 1-1. So a 2-1, a median in Miami-Dade is $2,300, right? And I know you guys are thinking like, but it looks like crap, and we're gonna get there. Don't worry, we're gonna get there, right? The median is $2,300 for the 2-1, and the median for the 1-1 is $1,600. Okay, guys, that would mean that if this property looked like, you know, normal, median, like, you know, not bad, not amazing, you could possibly rent this out for $3,900, right? So that's you know, what I think you could possibly get for it, okay? But would that even make sense, right? Would that even make sense? So if you got it at this point, right, would it, if it was ready, would it make sense? And well, let's look at it. On the 1% rule, it's a maybe, okay? It's a maybe. Could it pay its mortgage if you rented it for that price? Barely. You know, you'd get a loan for it with a 25% down payment, you know, like just based off of like the property. Well, not this one, not the way it looks right now. But suppose that you fix it up, right? Then you might just barely get a loan for it. Banks usually want to see this at 125%, right? The best returns that you could get here are going to be a 9.7% return. Wow. And you wouldn't cash flow for 2 years, 2.5 years, okay? So again, right, when we're looking at this, you know, you would definitely need to check the rents, obviously, right? But it would fail here, it would fail there, and more than likely, it would fail to create wealth. And I say all this to say, guys, right, even if it was 9.7% return, what's the most that you think that you could actually negotiate off this guy, right? Plus you gotta add repairs, right? So let's say this were to equal then, right? Because this might be a good deal for somebody. 449. I think you could probably, you know, depending on how much he's in the hole, right? I think you might be able to negotiate 150K off of this. That's what I would throw at him. And then it would take probably like another 100K to get this fixed up. Like 50K each side, at least, right? So now what you end up paying is $399,000, and now does this property make sense? Well, barely, right? Because now you could probably rent it out around this price range, but again, it's the best that you could possibly do is, let's see, 11.9. And so like you're gonna go through all this work, right? You're gonna buy the property, you're gonna negotiate the price, you're gonna fix the property up, you know, you're gonna knock $150,000 off the price. Then on top of that, you're gonna put another $100,000 onto the property. This whole time it's vacant, by the way. This property is gonna be vacant. So it's gonna be losing money, right? You're gonna be making that mortgage payment and just not making any money. And then when you finally do rent it out, all it's gonna do for you is 12%. Guys, there's properties that we saw yesterday, multiple properties that we saw yesterday that could do much better. As a matter of fact, we saw a duplex that was in the $400,000 range that was like an A property. It would do double what the S&P can give you. So again, for that reason, guys, this property for me is not even a B or a C or a D. This property is a straight up F tier all day. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions, any opinions, right? If you guys would come in here and try to fix this up, or if you think that my estimate of $100,000 to fix this property, mind you, it's 2,000 square feet. It's a big one. And we don't even know what it looks like on the inside. Yeah, pass. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow.